to be back with you. Today we're looking at fun ways to die and less fun ways to die. Now I've been thinking about how I would like to die, and I think I'd like to be surrounded by friends and loved ones wanking furiously. Sort of riffing on Elvis there. Sandhurst is the training academy for the elite of the British Army, if such a thing is possible. I'm joking, of course, but it's basically boot camp for posh people. Snoot camp, if you will.
So let's start really with what Sandhurst does.
Teach people to blow other people up.
Well, the basic aim is to develop leadership.
Develop leadership, sorry. The BBC Two documentary Sandhurst opens in a sombre tone. It's September the 12th, 2010, and a British soldier has just been killed in Afghanistan. As the new wannabe recruits are dropped off, their parents reflect solemnly on the perils they face.
You have a fantastic time. Yeah, you look fantastic.
Well, some of them, yeah. Have a fantastic time until you're blown into a blood-soaked vapour. Day one begins bright and early at 5:27 a.m. With a rousing rendition of God Save the Queen, although one hopeful doesn't do too well with the litre of water toast.
Can you sit? Do I clean it up if you sit?
No, of course he's...
Right, don't worry about it, clean it up in a minute. Can you sit again?
No.
Well, better out than...
Right, Jeremy, you don't have to look at not on the mobile phones.
In. Now, a game I like to play sometimes is called Middle Class or Homeless. It can be very hard to tell them apart sometimes, especially from behind. But these middle class boys and girls are getting the full army treatment, especially haircuts.
What did you do at uni?
I did history and English.
Anything interesting about yourself?
No, I'd probably say no, not really.
Nothing at all? Self-esteem issues. And why do they get up at 5 in the bloody morning? It's not like they're in a battle. They don't have to march to Kamdesh by nightfall. But there is much to learn about the grim truth of warfare, learning how to stab people, for example.
When you thrust that into the enemy, there'll be no suction, okay? You will be able to pull it out straight away.
And we learn the morbid nomenclature deployed by the men on the ground.
The individual is now an angel. That's the term we use for people who die in operations.
One new recruit goes to the funeral of the squaddie who inspired him to join up. It's an affair filled with military pomp and precision.
Dying for your country is fairly honourable. There are a lot worse ways to go.
Are you sure? I'm not sure there aren't worse ways to go than dying in excruciating pain thousands of miles from your loved ones and knowing you're just going to be replaced by some other poor sod whose family will also endure sleepless nights until he finally gets home or turns into an angel. In the meantime, someone forgot to paint something, so now the whole troop has to do press-ups in that bloke's puddle of sick from this morning. Everything in the army is about process and precision.
I've been neat before, but I don't think this is very efficient, to be honest. But I suppose there's a purpose to it.
And maybe, just as a funeral service has a rigid structure and code of behaviour to help everyone grieving keep it together, that's the purpose of army training. The whole thing feels like an elaborate funereal ritual. Preoccupy yourself with ironing and placing your knife and fork in the right position so you don't have to think about the fact that any day now you might become a 3-metre wide pink smear on the sand of Afghanistan.
You know, some of my more liberal or Marxist friends in the civilian world might call it brainwashing.
Don't get me wrong, I understand why the jobbing squaddie living in a depressed little town with no opportunities signs up to the army, where those shiny recruitment shops on the high street with sexy shots of helicopters and smart uniforms have tremendous appeal when your only other options are the dole or drug dealing. Those people have my respect, but these people with degrees and stuff? This is plain old dumb.
I've heard it described as Hogwarts with guns.
So let's now turn to more fun ways to die. See, you could spend your day getting up at 5 a.m, being shouted at and polishing things until you're blown to pieces. Or you could sleep in and then astound your body with cholesterol thanks to the remarkable recipes of American TV chef Paula Deen, a Southern belle of Big Ben proportions who believes that the word "this" contains 2 syllables and that every pound of mashed potatoes should contain at least 1/3 of a pound of butter.
And we kind of let it just sit on top like that. And then as people come by, they can reach in there and get as much butter as they want because it kind of just floats on top of those mashed potatoes.
Come on, Which way would you like to die? Like this?
We got told yesterday we weren't allowed to cry anymore.
Or like this?
If we cut this in half, put our lasagna on the bread, and had a lasagna sandwich.
Oh, that sounds good.
This? Or this?
Just when you thought you couldn't make cheesecake any better. Oops. Before I cut this bad boy up, though, I think I need to run him through a little powdered sugar.
Like this?
But that is totally unacceptable to fall asleep on, Stag.
Or like this?
Look here what I got. No, you don't. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Brilliant. Are you game or lame? I'm game, honey. All right, so we got our burger. We got our egg. We got a couple of pieces of bacon. We're gonna have our sweet and our savory.
Paula Dean has had to rein it in a bit lately. Turns out, all the while she was peddling those delicious recipes to us, oh yeah, she was fixing to rustle up a little something else. Type 2 diabetes. And she's now making a small fortune endorsing a form of diabetes medication.
We're gonna be arrested.
And it just tastes so good with a glass of insulin on the side. That's it for this time. Next time, religion. God willing.
So, if your balls burst,